But the Washington Post had an article yesterday that was like kind of oddly teased. I can't really remember seeing this where so many journalists seem to know about the impending report, but refuse to say anything about the impending report. So there's a whole separate conversation about like the hype around this story, and is it odd that there was hype around it at all? And now does it take away from it when people like built it up so much? And then what was the reality, where to fall in relation to that hype? But I don't really want to engage with any of that. Basically, an article in the Washington Post, and this is nothing new. I mean, there's an article in the New York Times that outlined a lot of this 2 years ago. But basically 15 women leveled accusations of a culture of sexual harassment, misconduct, reaches all the way through upper management. Snyder bought the team in 99. The allegations span from 06 to 2019. So this is not a small sample size. And it's just, I mean, look, the bottom line takeaway, there's so many details that you can go through. But in my opinion, the entire organization, like I said, it just seems rotten. It just seems unprofessional. Like I can't imagine being in a work, and I like to think our workplace is good. I guess I'm not really here during the day as much interacting with a ton of people since we're here so early. But like I can't imagine, or would never want to work in a place where women go to work consistently feeling like this. But how about this? Julia Payne was vice president of communications back in 2003. So this is even back in 2003. Quote, "I have never been in a more hostile, manipulative, passive-aggressive environment. And I worked in politics. And how about this? She just didn't work in politics. She worked in the belly of the beast. She was an assistant press secretary for Bill Clinton. And she's saying that the Washington organization is the most hostile, manipulative, and passive-aggressive environment she's ever seen. That is damning, my friends." And to be honest, though, the other reaction I had on the other side of this is like, who is surprised? This is kind of exactly how I imagined a Daniel Snyder-led organization would be. Washington sucks in every facet. They suck on the field. They suck worse off the field. The only reason they changed their name was because of money. They've never developed anything in terms of recently. Like they haven't, like since Snyder's ownership, they haven't built upon anything. They haven't furthered the legacy. They haven't improved the surrounding area. They've done nothing except for be bad on the field and then sit there and collect a check. And so if the NFL is truly about protecting the shield, right? That's what they always say. I think the time is clear. Like it's time to get a new owner in Washington. And if you are someone who's sitting out there and you're like, oh, I hate cancel culture and whatever, again, a separate conversation, but don't think of this as cancel culture. Think of this as somebody being fired for being really bad at their job, which he has been, especially in terms of on-field results. Now, the valuation of of Washington has gone up massively because, of course, it has, because that's just how these professional organizations work. And that's why I don't feel bad for Daniel Snyder at all. Okay, he got a long time to get this thing right. He has completely blown it. And when he sells this team, he'll probably make about $4 billion if he sells this team. He bought it for $800 million. So don't feel bad for Dan Snyder if this comes to pass. What should come to pass? That's what I'm saying. If they're really about protecting the shield. Roger Goodell can actually make this happen. There is a little-known NFL bylaw that essentially says that if you have conduct detrimental to the league, a phrase that we have heard a lot, that you can be forced to sell. Well, what more does Daniel Snyder have to do to prove that he is the walking embodiment of conduct detrimental to the league? And as I said, it's not even like he's an attractive owner. He hasn't added anything. Even a guy like David Richardson, who was forced to sell and who did or Jerry Richardson, and did some terrible things. He still built an entirely new franchise and had success and went to a Super Bowl and built around the community. Like Schneider has all the negatives of Richardson without even any of the positives. He's a joke. So get him out of there. Think about this. Imagine being Ron Rivera and having to deal with this. You're about stepping into the belly of the beast. The guy just wants to coach football. And now he has to try to lead the charge for culture change. Despite while Daniel Snyder just sits there and doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything. Get him out of here and get in Jeff Bezos. And this is where it starts to maybe look like this is Bezos. This is his 4D chess play to get Washington. Of course, he owns the Washington Post, right? And according to Jason Lockenfora from a November 2019 article, Jeff wants to own an NFL team. He's become very close with multiple owners. He's moving to Washington. That was in November. He may have moved by this point. He watched the Super Bowl from Roger Goodell's suite. And if you're Washington, and in this article, he kind of says, I don't see Snyder selling, so maybe he enters like a 50-50 partnership. Well, you can force him to sell. And now seems like the perfect opportunity for a regime change if you're that franchise. You have a new name coming. You're trying to get a new stadium. It's time to enter a new era of Washington football. Wash away the stink. How about this? Since Daniel Snyder took over, he's 149 and 189. Lost 40 more games than he has won. They led the league in attendance in 08. Good on you. In 2018, they were 27th out of 32 teams. And no, like I said, I don't feel bad for Snyder. And honestly, if you just start to sit there and think about someone like Bezos as an owner with unlimited pockets and the potential of what he could do for that franchise, for that city, and then even for the NFL as a whole, he immediately becomes far more exciting than Daniel Snyder does. Plus, as Musso alluded to, Amazon is already completely taking over the world. So let's just give ourselves fully over to them, right? And then who knows? Like maybe this ends up when you're at the football games, you just order something from your phone and then like a little Amazon drone flies it to your seat. That would be pretty sweet, right? Getting beers and churros just dropped off directly in my lap.
I'm good. No, I don't need that.
What? Why not?
I said he's going to take over the world. I didn't say I wanted him to take over
the
world.
Yeah, robots, dude. Robots, Bezos, it's all the same thing. They're all coming. Drones, it's all there.
Yeah,
Give me drone food delivery. Hey, the only thing that would bum me out about that.
You already have drones.
You want to get ice cold beer. And I would, that's like a clarion call, a siren from the rocks. I will always walk towards that call when I hear it. But either way, the point being, Amazon seems like they are a much more exciting and valid option for owning this franchise. And how about this? A January 19th, 2020 survey says that 62%, it was January of 2019, this survey, says 62% of all American households have Amazon Prime. It's over 100 million members in the U.S. And what's Prime, like $120 a year? Something like that? I'm not a mathematician. That's a lot of money. That's enough money to buy the Washington team. Get it out of Daniel Snyder's hand. It's time for a new era of football over there in Washington. All right. When we get back, and again, like whatever, I'm not even saying that this has anything to do with the name. That's a piece of the pie. It's a piece of the puzzle. But just on the field, he deserves to no longer be the owner. It's terrible. And it's time to make somebody who's going to be more proactive and improve the franchise and bring it back to what it once was. All right, when we get back, we got Cole Kubelik of the SEC Network stopping by.
To like or not to like? That is the question. And I'd like you to answer that question by smashing that like button, subscribing to Off the Bench, and then clicking on one of these wonderful videos. You missed Coach O stopping by OTB on Tuesday. Well, that's right there. And then look at this. Pelicans, Saints, Tigers, everything your Louisiana heart desires right here on Off the Bench. Check us out live, 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Listen to us 7 to 10 a.m. each and every weekday. We'll see you then on OTB.